From the KHON2 News, this is a special report.
And good morning. Governor David Ige now just moments away from delivering his annual State of the State address. This will be his fourth State of the State address since taking office in 2014. Now, today's speech comes just 9 days since a missile alert mistakenly was sent to residents and visitors. Ige took questions from state lawmakers last Friday about the mistake and the delay in notifying people of the error. He also apologized for the pain and confusion that it caused. Will we hear more about the error in today's speech? Other areas that we anticipate we will discuss in the current state of Hawaii's homelessness issues and crisis and housing shortage. Officials estimate Hawaii needs about 65,000 housing units before that is currently addressed. In a State of the State last year, you may recall he was optimistic about the future of Hawaii's economy, shared his goals for the year, including transforming schools to better prepare our children for the future, reshaping Hawaii's economy to allow for more innovation across industries, making government more efficient and more effective. Remember, this is an election year, and it's been a tough week for his administration. Voters will be listening intently about his plans, and so will critics. They will be doing the same. As you can see there, we are congregating right now in the state capitol. The rotunda was crowded earlier this morning. The governor expected to take the podium any moment now. It'll probably be opened by the Speaker of the Senate, which is Ron Kochi, the Speaker Saiki, rather, and President Kochi will be taking the podium as well. Former governors that we understand are in the House as well, as long as some distinguished members of the community, the justices. Congressional delegation obviously have a lot to do right now at Washington, D.C. Of course, a vote was happening earlier this morning that avoided and further was shut down. The government shutdown has now been concluded after the Senate's vote. We'll have more on that issue later on tonight on our newscasts. Military leaders are also there. Honored guests are also there. Of course, family and friends of Governor Ige. Again, this will be his fourth State of the State address since he took office in 2014. A lot of people listening intently this morning, again, because of what happened 9 days ago with the alert that happened and mistakenly was sent out to the entire state, residents and visitors, and this issue went worldwide. And it was can't say it any other way. It was a black eye to the state in many different areas, whether it was our visitor industry, our trust in government, how the words got out in technology. A lot of shortfalls were exposed, not only with government agencies, but a lot of shortfalls within our own families. Everyone is starting to sit down. That usually an indication that the governor is on his way to the podium. Again, we anticipate his speech last year lasted about 35-40 minutes. We anticipate his State of the State address will also last that long this year. All right, let's listen in. Ceremony has begun.
Will the joint session of the 29th Legislature please come to order? Members, this morning we are gathered for the Governor's State of the State address. Although the State of the State address is not constitutionally required, it is a tradition in our state. It is also one of the occurrences when all three branches of government assemble in the same room. This gathering is not symbolic. Rather, it is a reaffirmation of the framework of our constitutional form of government and, specifically, the distribution of power between the three branches. The Hawaii Supreme Court has described this distribution as follows. While the object was to divide and allocate the sovereign power among three co-equal branches, the separate powers were not intended to operate with absolute independence. The Constitution contemplates that practice will integrate the dispersed powers into a workable government. It enjoins upon its branches separateness but interdependence, autonomy but reciprocity. In the Hawaii Supreme Court's own words, the constitutional framework rests upon the principle that the branches will not overstep their bounds. Each branch's respect for the others ensures a government that is workable and therefore able to advance the well-being of the entire state. Before receiving the governor's message, I would like to recognize some of our honored guests. First, Lieutenant Governor Shan Tsutsui. Senate President Ronald D. Kolchi. Chief Justice Mark E. Rechtenwald. Ms. Colette Machado, Chair of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Other distinguished guests joining us in the House chambers this morning are Dawn Ige, wife of Governor David Ige. Former Governor John Waihee and Mrs. Lynn Waihee. Former Governor Linda Lingle. Associate Justice Sabrina McKenna. Associate Justice Richard Pollack. Associate Justice Michael Wilson. And representing the U.S. Army Pacific is Major General Brian Suntheimer. Representing the U.S. Marine Corps Pacific is Colonel Keith Burkpile. Representing the U.S. Pacific Command is Dr. John Randolph Wood. Mayor Harry Kim, County of Hawaii. Managing Director Roy Amamiya from the City and County of Honolulu. Managing Director Keith Regan from the County of Maui. Managing Director Wallace Resents Jr. from the County of Kauai. Council Chair Ron Minor from the City and County of Honolulu. Council Chair Valerie Poindexter from the County of Hawaii. Council Chair Mike White from the County of Maui. Ms. Jane Hardy, Consul General of Australia. Mr. Koichi Ito, Consul General of Japan. Mr. Young Hoon Kang, Consul General of Korea. Ms. Gina Hamorlin, Consul General of the Philippines. Mr. Wallace Min Gon Chow, Director General of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office. Ms. Karina Lyons, Consul General of New Zealand. The Chair hereby appoints the following legislators to escort the Honorable David Ige, Governor of the State of Hawaii, to the rostrum. On behalf of the House, Representative Della Al-Baladi and Representative Lauren Matsumoto, and on behalf of the Senate, Senator Jay Kalani English and Senator Brickwood Galateria. The chair hereby requests the following legislators to present lays to the governor. On behalf of the House, Representative Joy San Buenaventura, and on behalf of the Senate, Senator Rosalind Baker. Members of the 29th Legislature, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending our warmest aloha and welcome to the Governor of the State of Hawaii, the Honorable David Ige.
Speaker Saiki, President Kouchi, former governors, distinguished justices of the courts, representatives of our congressional delegation, members of the Hawaii State Legislature, elected officials, military leaders, honored guests, family, and friends. Good morning and aloha. Aloha. As a new legislative session opens, I want you to know I am ready to work with you on the issues that affect us all. The state of our state is strong. We are a resilient people, and the future is bright. As I stand before you today, I'm struck by the beautiful and often challenging complexity that makes Hawaii our home. We really are the most beautiful place on earth. We are of many cultures and faiths, and we live together in greater harmony than any place in the world. People from all over the planet come here to enjoy our environment, our host culture, and their gifts to all of us, the gifts of aloha, tolerance, and respect, and the celebration of each other and our differences. We often need to be reminded of what makes us so special. We are one of the healthiest states in the nation. People here live longer than anywhere else in the country. We have led the nation in health insurance for decades, and in the current chaos, we stand firm in caring for each other. We have the lowest unemployment rate in the nation. We are strong financially. Our bond rating is the highest it's ever been in our history, making it possible for us to get the most bang for our buck when we borrow money. This saves the state tens of millions of dollars, allowing us to make critical investments in our schools, housing, and highways. And we have made our voice clear. Hawaii will not stand for the hateful and hurtful policies of the Trump White House. We are doing more than any other state to stand up for what is right, such as DACA and the Paris Climate Accord, and to stop what is wrong, such as the travel ban and stopping transgender members of the military from defending our flag and our freedoms. And yet, so many of us are living paycheck to paycheck, relying heavily on our extended families to make ends meet. Owning a home is out of reach for many families, with housing costs rising faster than wages. Too much of our time is spent in traffic, affecting our families and quality of life. The growing gap between those doing well and those who are not should concern all of us. We depend too heavily on imported food and fuel. And we must find a just place in our relationship with our own history and with the people of the First Nation of Hawaii. And the challenges to our island environment, such as global climate change, stare us in the face every single day. I honor my predecessors, former governors, and I have built on what they have done. In doing so, I affirm 3 truths about Hawaii and the way we govern. First, I see Hawaii as a place and a people that cherish our children, celebrate our diversity, and want a better life for the next generation. Second, I see Hawaii as a place and a people where we believe in Ohana. We respect our kupuna and understand that our aina and our ocean are critical to our quality of life. And finally, I see Hawaii as a place and a people where we still believe in the promise of Hawaii and the prospect of limitless opportunities. This is the legacy of our host culture, the cultures of our immigrant families, and all those who choose to call Hawaii home. We have put these values and beliefs into action to chart the course to our collective future. It is one thing to say, our children matter. It is quite another thing to do something about it. We have invested more widely in classrooms than in previous years. We promised to cool 1,000 of Hawaii's hottest classrooms, where soaring temperatures have hindered learning for years. I'm proud to report, with the legislature's support, that we exceeded our original goal, and we're at 1,200 classrooms and counting. I also promised to empower our schools so they can focus on 21st century skills and critical learning. In meetings around the state, community members, teachers, staff, and principals expressed frustration about the top-down mandates and one-size-fits-all approach to schools. And so, with more than 3,000 parents, teachers, and community members from around the state, we created a new blueprint for education. This blueprint for change is now in the hands of new DOE leadership. I also recognize that it is not enough to say to our teachers, "We respect how hard you work." That's why we've given our educators the pay raise that they have long deserved. Now let's talk about housing. When we say Ohana, we truly mean nobody gets left behind. For those who want to live in Hawaii, probably no issue is more challenging than finding a decent, affordable place to live. And probably no issue challenges us as a society more than the daily sight of those who are now living on our streets and in our parks. We have dedicated more money to mental health treatment and services, including to our homeless population. We have initiated the largest annual increase in production of affordable housing, with thousands of new units coming to market. We're on track to meet our goal of 10,000 new housing units by 2020, with at least 40% affordable. And this session, I'm requesting $100 million to maintain the momentum and produce more affordable homes across the state. It has been my firm belief that the state must remain committed to developing and delivering Hawaiian homelands to beneficiaries. In 2016, we provided $24 million in funding to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. This was the highest level of funding in the department's 95-year history, and more than double what had been set aside previously. For its part, Hawaiian Homelands has been ramping up development of vacant and turnkey lots. More than 220 lots were awarded in 2017, and that number will more than double in 2018. We have also worked hard with the department to spend down federal funds and identify alternative sources of revenue that can be used to sustain the agency over time. Our Housing First policy focuses on transitional housing as a way to get people into permanent housing. The new Kaka'ako Family Assessment Center moves families off the streets and into permanent housing in less than 90 days. A special team at Public Housing reduced the vacant turnaround time from 267 days to just 7 days. And our landlord summits increase the number of landlords willing to rent to families transitioning out of homelessness. Even in the tragedy that is homelessness, there are significant signs that these policies are starting to make a difference. Homelessness is down 9% statewide, the first decline in 8 years. There's more to be done for sure. We continue our efforts to offer services to those who have so far refused to leave the streets to move into a better life. We have set aside monies in this year's budget to support more progress on the homelessness front. Our budget request also includes $15 million in additional funding for Housing First initiatives, outreach services, and maintaining safety in our public places. We also know how important community partners have been in tackling this challenge. Take Kahau'iki Village, a permanent housing project for homeless families launched by local businessman and philanthropist Dwayne Kurisu. Dwayne brought together the city, state, and nonprofits and businesses to make the village a reality in record time. The first 30 families moved in recently. Dwayne, please stand to be recognized. Ohana also means that you should be able to put food on the table and be home with your family to eat it. That means jobs that pay well and commutes that work. Even though tourism is up and unemployment is low, many of our residents are living paycheck to paycheck, one health emergency or car repair away from crisis. Some people may have 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. The challenge is not just about creating jobs. It's about creating quality jobs and the training that go with them. I understand the frustration of many, and that's why I'm working to transform our economy to give residents a diversity of employment opportunities that pay higher wages and lead to a better quality of life for all. We're tackling another quality of life issue, and that's traffic congestion. You know, I have 3 goals. Get projects done quickly, get them done inexpensively, and get them done with minimum impact on the environment. And we are making progress. From zipper and shoulder lanes and other contraflow lanes to safety around our public schools and truck-only routes, we are going to where the problems are. We're reducing backups and bottlenecks in West and Windward Oahu, Kahului, Lahaina, Lihue, Hilo, Kona, and other communities all across the state. We want commute times to be shorter. We must create a better life for the next generation. It is what we all want. We all dream of our children succeeding here in Hawaii. With my 3 children on the mainland, I know firsthand how hard it is to have them an ocean away. My personal goal, the goal to which I have dedicated my service as governor, is creating a Hawaii that gives all of our children the choice to live and call Hawaii home. My grandparents came to Hawaii in search of opportunities. It is not acceptable to me that many of our kids are essentially becoming immigrants in other places because we don't have the opportunities here in Hawaii. While there is more to do, I am proud of what we have accomplished together. We have more early college programs so high school students can earn college credits, saving families money and making it easier to graduate with degrees. We expanded campuses and offer more courses at UH West Oahu and Palama Nui. The creation of Hawaii's Promise scholarships helps to pay for the cost of attending UH community colleges. The Entrepreneur's Sandbox in Kaka'ako brings startups together in one shared space and helps with loans and grants. And we also founded the annual hackathon competition, which enlists hundreds of professionals and amateur code writers to develop solutions for the state's biggest information technology challenges. We must prepare our young people for jobs in this sector, and that means supporting STEM education, focusing on science, technology, engineering, and math. The good news is that it is expanding at all levels. The University of Hawaii is one of the leaders in this work, with the Manoa campus increasing its STEM graduates by more than 1/3 in recent years, and the community colleges leading the way, tripling their numbers. Also helping to train students in our schools are partners like DevLeague, a computer programming and coding academy founded by 2 local software engineers. They are working with the DOE and private foundations. Together, they are teaching high school students advanced coding and cybersecurity skills. We'd like to recognize DevLeague's founders, Jason Sewell and Russell Chang. Jason and Russell. He's up in the back. To be sure that workers in Hawaii's existing industries aren't left behind, we've made available a wide variety of vocational training opportunities through the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations. These programs match training with current job openings in fields ranging from computer science and shipyard welding to banking and food safety. And within state government, as we ride the wave of modernization, we remain fully committed to retraining every worker to use the new computer systems and technology tools. Technology helps us be more responsive to serve the public. We have always been a state that cares about the elderly. We are making good on that. I am proud that together we were able to pass Kupuna Care legislation that provides assistance for full-time family caregivers who also have full-time jobs. This is a win for Hawaii's families. We also work to make sure those who have served our state get to retire with the dignity they were promised and deserve. With the legislature's support, we took aggressive steps that will save us $1.6 billion over the next 20 years. As our kupuna have taught us, paying our bills, honoring our obligations, and saving for the future is how we build a brighter future. And we have done that. One value that has guided this administration is to simply not pass on our debts to our kids and our grandkids. Together, we have made tremendous strides in this task, rebuilding our rainy day fund to $310 million. We have gone after tax cheats and collected millions from those who are not paying their fair share. And we are working to modernize our tax collection system to make it easier and fairer for the people of Hawaii. We made needed changes to improve the system so we can collect the tax revenues we rely on to deliver state services. I believe we're on the right track to accomplish this major task. We're also making great strides in protecting our Aina and ocean resources. To date, we have protected over 40,000 acres of watershed forest on Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, and Hawaii Islands. We helped preserve Turtle Bay lands from further development. A joint agreement with the U.S. Navy is helping us reach our renewable energy goals. And together, we've established guidelines to use recycled water on food crops. Working with all of you here in the legislature, we were able to provide tax credits for organic farmers, which means a healthier people and healthier lands. And you passed and I signed a law to abide by the Paris Climate Accord, the first state in the nation to do so. We understand deeply and fully what the future requires of us. I also fought to give Native Hawaiians a seat at the table when it comes to management of Papahanaumokuakea, a national marine monument. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs is now co-trustee of the monument. Our goal of increasing local food production is another golden opportunity for Hawaii. We are blessed with 4 growing seasons and a land-grant university with a College of Tropical Agriculture that has a long history of cutting-edge work. With all of these factors, Hawaii can and must become the premier center for new agricultural technologies. We already have ag tech startups going strong here in Hawaii. One company that comes to mind is Smart Yields. They help small and medium farmers to increase their production with data analytics and other technology tools. The company received international attention when it was chosen to be part of the Vatican's very first tech accelerator focused on global food production. At this time, I'd like to recognize Smart Yield CEO Vincent Kimura and his mentor, Hawaii Island farmer Richard Ha. What we need now is the driver to make local food production possible. There is no better way than through our schools. I applaud the new leadership in the DOE's Farm to School program, the leadership provided by Lieutenant Governor Shan Tsutsui, and the great cooperation of the Department of Agriculture and the State's Procurement Office. Shan, please stand to be recognized. Clean energy is not only critical to air and water quality. It is important to our economy and our wallets as we work to reduce our reliance on imported fossil fuels. Working with the legislature, I was the first governor to sign into law a bill requiring 100% of Hawaii's electricity to come from renewable sources by 2045. This demonstrates what we can accomplish when we work together. We want hydropower, seawater air conditioning, solar and wind energy, biomass, and the fullest possible use of our waste streams. We celebrate the Huhonua power plant on the Big Island, as well as the new solar farms on other islands. And this week, we will join NRG Energy, Hawaiian Electric, and Kamehameha Schools in celebrating 3 utility-scale solar projects here on Oahu. As a next step, we will grow a carbon market here in Hawaii. This way, carbon polluters from around the world can invest in restoring Hawaii's koa and ohia trees and forests to offset their carbon emissions wherever that is. We want the brainpower and the imagination of the world to continue to come here. They can help us find our way to 100% renewable energy sources for electricity, and in doing so, help the world find its way to 100%. Let us take the billions we export for fossil fuels and spend it here, and then export the energy systems we develop. We are dreaming big and creating the promise of limitless opportunities. Anything less means we are letting down the next generation. Hawaii has so much potential in this new, globally connected world. We are already viewed as the ideal research base and testing ground for innovative, globally significant technologies such as telemedicine, smart cities, and autonomous driverless vehicles. Hawaii is a leader in solving the issues of our time. Much of what we do here in Hawaii is groundbreaking. Hawaii is home to many talented individuals breaking new ground every single day. Hawaii is full of stories of business innovators blazing the trail to create new products and services. The Big Island's Tina Fitch turned her startup, Switchfly, into a global software platform used by almost every major travel and hospitality company in the world. Now she's returned home and started a second company, Hobnob, which we hope achieves equal success. Tina, who flew in to be with us this morning. Tina, can you rise to be recognized? In our own state government, employees are helping us improve the services to the public every day. One example is a team of young millennials known as the Three Amigos: Jody Nakamura, Ryan Mercado, and Liam Tobin. The wait time for workers' comp hearings has been cut in half because of their efforts. This 2017 Team of the Year from the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations launched a project to digitize mountains of paperwork from some 20,000 claims a year. And there are many more dedicated workers just like them all around the state. Jody, Ryan, and Liam, please stand to be recognized. They're just a sampling of our homegrown talent. We just need to do more to create the supportive environment around them that will launch and sustain their careers here in the islands. I hope you leave today knowing that we have laid important groundwork and that Hawaii is on the edge of something exciting. At the beginning of my speech, I said, Hawaii is a beautiful and complex place. I believe that is our gift to our children and to the future. Imagine a future economy for Hawaii that isn't reliant solely on tourism and the military. Imagine a future where local entrepreneurs are inventing useful products and services that are sold across the globe. Imagine that we use our temperate weather and 4 growing seasons to develop new high-tech agricultural tools that increase yields for farmers from Hawaii to India. Imagine that we farm our nearshore ocean waters to feed our own communities and the growing global demand for seafood. And with these businesses, there's new demand for scientists, technicians, and marketing professionals. And what does this mean for the people of Hawaii? It means a healthier economy with quality jobs that enable us to improve our schools, take care of our kupuna, and provide more affordable housing. This future Hawaii isn't as far off as it seems. We've already set things in motion. We've put stakes in the ground, and we're making progress. To face the challenges of the future, Hawaii must seize the opportunities, embrace change, and identify the game-changing steps that we need to take. Together, the possibilities are limitless. I believe the qualities we treasure most about Hawaii are what will draw our children back to us. When I ran for governor 4 years ago, I wanted to take my lifetime of public service and fundamentally change the path we were taking. I have committed my life to the people of the state of Hawaii. No matter what challenges we face, no matter what frustrations or issues we have with one another, I find my strength and courage in our shared sense of unity. We must work together. Mahalo and aloha.
Governor has just completed his 4th State of the State address, a speech lasting about 42 minutes. As anticipated, he spoke at length about education, Hawaii's homeless crisis, and housing shortage. He also spent some time talking about clean energy and those commitments there, high-tech agriculture, care for our kupuna, and a healthier economy. What was glaringly missing, though, from this morning's speech was any reference to the missile false alert and the panic that it caused across Hawaii and really across the world. We're gathering reaction to the Governor Ige's speech, and we'll have that and a full recap on our evening newscasts and online at khon2.com. We thank you for joining us for this special report. Return now to our regular programming. Until next time, aloha.
This has been a special report from the KHON2 News. Get the KHON2 News and Weather app and stay in the know on the go.